Hi guys, my name is Lindsay Schneider, and today I want to start off my speech by asking you guys a question. And that is, how many hours a day do you think that you spend on social media just scrolling through? I know personally my answer to this question would be somewhere between 2 and 3 hours every day. I know a lot of the time that I spend scrolling happens at night and prevents me from getting sleep. But I took a survey of college-age students on this question, and their responses varied from between 1 hour a day to 8 hours a day scrolling on social media. Now, these answers, a lot of them fell in that middle range between the two, but still, these answers are very telling to me that we spend a large chunk of our day on social media just scrolling. So, because of this, I want to touch on today in my speech the issues created by social media and its effects on young minds, and also how we can raise awareness to help negate some of these negative effects of social media. So, social media is prevalent in today's society, and we see it all the time. It is even considered weird or different to not have social media versus to have social media. It's just very common, and I think it's something that the negative effects of aren't really talked about as often as it ought to be. As a result of social media, more young people experience depression, anxiety, and body issues. According to Mayo Clinic, social media can also negatively affect teens, distracting them, disrupting their sleep, and exposing them to bullying, rumor spreading, unrealistic views of other people's bodies, and peer pressure. I think that all of these claims are true, and especially about exposing them to unrealistic views of people's bodies. When you scroll through social media and see someone's post, I don't think what a lot of younger people understand is that those photos aren't necessarily real, and social media always highlights the best part of someone's life. You are not seeing the worst parts of people's lives and all the negative things that go along with that. You're seeing the best, edited, highlighted version of their life. And we are taught to look up to that and glamorize that through society. Also, according to MayoClinic.org, in 2016, a study of more than 450 teens found that greater social media use, nighttime social media use, and an emotional investment in social media use, such as the feeling of being upset when you can't get logged onto your social media, were each linked with worse sleep, higher levels of anxiety, and also higher levels of depression. So that just goes to show that this large study group found the same results. As well as social media can, once again, like I said, create unrealistic beauty standards. Going back and touching on that, more on the photo editing and filter side of that, most of these social media apps don't require it to be told that filters are being used or that photo editing was done to the image. So we scroll through and see hundreds of pictures a day, maybe even thousands, depending on how much time they're spending on social media, and seeing these pictures of these perfect people with perfect bodies and perfect smiles and perfect faces, when in fact a lot of those have been edited, or there's a filter associated with it, or what have you. But a lot of those images are not really particularly real 100%. I think that's something that people should be made more aware of. And I'm just going to hit on a personal experience with that. I wish that I would have been made more aware of that when I was younger, because I definitely remember scrolling through social media and thinking that, that's what I should look like. That's what I wanted to do, was be just like these people. And that led to, things like disordered eating, or trying to work out a bunch, or just being upset because I didn't look like these people. Now that I'm getting older and more mature, I do realize that this is not the reality of the situation, and most of these people that we see aren't actually perfect. But it's almost kind of funny to me to look back on some of the selfies that I took when I was in middle school and high school, and the editing I would do to those pictures and the filters that I would use to try to look like these girls. Some of them are just unrecognizable. Like, I could not say that that was me if I saw it. And then a small study in 2018 found a correlation between time spent on social media with negative body image, disordered eating, and that was especially true if participants were scrolling through appearance-related content, like an account of a fitness instructor or model on Instagram. Because social media is filled with people presenting themselves in their best light, it can be difficult to avoid images and messages that might make you feel negatively about yourself. And I found that quote from Insider.com. And then another funny thing I wanted to mention was on Insider.com, I was looking at this article about how media can cause young women to feel insecure or sad about the bodies that they have. And while I was looking through it, an ad popped out for a diet that women should follow to reach the body type that they want. So I thought that was kind of funny that it was a prime example of what I was talking about. These are just some of the examples and quotes that show the negative effects of social media. While it has many downfalls, it can also have positive things, but these positive things don't negate the negative things. So some productive things we can do and put out there and recommend to people are to limit the time we spend on social media, try not to scroll at night, and don't bring your device to bed, and just try to remind yourself that social media shows the highlights of people's lives and that everyone has flaws and does struggle. Something I came up with, a little alliteration to help remind people that, is the alliteration, stop scrolling so much. Stop scrolling socials so much. So that can just help to remind young people to stop, take a break from socials, go to reality, and try to make connections with people in the real world, and I think this will help. So yeah, I think that this is something that needs to be made more aware, and I'm glad that I was able to do my speech on this, and I hope that somebody learned something. Thank you.